Welcome to the Chaos Sector. I apologize for our recent episode being taken down. There were technical issues with the program. We continue with the Curtis vs. Halloween saga. I say Curtis vs. Halloween because she is not a part of the franchise. Yeah, I know it sounds absurd, due to her role in the original films. But it's not her role that proves she doesn't belong, it's her behavior, her actions, her statements, her arrogance. If you are given an opportunity to star in a film that turns into one of the greatest horror films ever made, and your status in Hollywood skyrockets due to that film's success, wouldn't you appreciate this? Of course you would. But Curtis sees the Halloween franchise as just some random film that gains so much popularity and clings to its reputation rather than appreciating the franchise as a whole. She wants all the credit, all of the attention, the praise, but she has stated on numerous occasions that she didn't watch horror films and didn't want to return to the franchise. How can she be praised for her role when she didn't invest in the franchise? Curtis only cared about the greenbacks. It was literally about fame and fortune, with passion taking a backseat in the road to success. Money is important, but if you are not truly invested in the films you are being paid for, it's almost like you're being overpaid, right? On the flip side, Danielle Harris was invested in those films and was underpaid. And let's be honest, Curtis was cast because she has big knockers. Everyone knows this, it's what makes her stand out. If it weren't for her boobs, she would have no real fanbase in Halloween, come on. She's an average actress, with above-average boobs. And what do you have? A mega star. All of her little male fanboys fantasize about her and completely ignore the fact that she's literally a demon with tits. Her image precedes her, yet that image is quite shallow if you think about it. The original Halloween was 1978, then the sequel in 1981. These are official Halloween films, not retcons, reboots, whatever they call the later films. The point here is that 78 and 81 are the only films Curtis played in that are official. What do I mean by official, you ask? It's in the term, official. Authentic, original, established, confirmed, proven, factual, etc. Retcons are not official films, they are recreations of an official, or original, film. Let me explain the difference, so you can truly grasp what we witnessed. A pair of Air Jordans compared to a pair of sneakers that are a replica of the original pair. But that replica is not an official pair of Air Jordans, do you understand? The cost is obviously different, and although they look similar, the fabric of the original pair is of higher quality. The original films are original. While the retcons are like replicas of the original films, they are not the same. In other words, don't be fooled by Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers in those films, it's not an official series. Many people, though, think that H2O is an official film because it is set 20 years after the original film in 1978. Think again, we explained what its purpose was. The original Halloween films are 78, 81, 82, 88, 89, and lastly, 95. Those are the original Halloween films in the franchise, everything else is basically a fan-made series of Halloween. If Kevin Williamson's original script would have been included, then H2O would not be classified as a retcon, it would be the next installment of the original timeline. Because, that script would include Jamie Lloyd, who is Laurie Strode's daughter, and of course Myers' niece. That was the original storyline, you can't erase it, and then be considered an official Halloween film. Zarin sees them as fan-made Halloween films, not official. To a certain degree, I agree. Speaking of Zarin, let me give her a call. Excuse me for a moment, gotta see what my girl's take will be regarding the latest news.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Zarin? You're making it to the show today, or what?
Not today, Pearl. I have a personal issue, but I'll be back tomorrow. And, I know what happened. The report was emailed to me soon after the last episode. Here's the thing, I'll briefly talk about it. When someone has envy in their heart, this can potentially turn into hatred. Harris was just a little girl, but that envy Curtis had turned into hatred towards Harris. We saw how her character was killed off. That's evidence of someone behind the scenes not really liking Harris.
Yeah, I agree. It's not uncommon in Hollywood that actors and actresses hold personal grudges, but Harris was just a little girl at the time. But then again, that little girl changed the storyline. Curtis couldn't just deal with it, she let her ego get the best of her.
She goes from being this little adorable kid, running from her crazy uncle, to being slaughtered by him, like a piece of meat at the chop shop. You don't treat a beloved character like that, especially since the fanbase reminisced on that little adorable kid. Curtis was never depicted in such a way, right? Even when she died in Resurrection, she was gracefully killed.
She certainly wasn't. They wouldn't allow her to die in such a way. But this magnifies Jamie Lloyd's death even more. Actually, Myers had more of a connection to his niece than his sister. He even shed tears in the 1989 film, right? So, how does Myers go from showing emotions towards his niece to brutally slamming her on a grinder, and even worse, pretending to care when she pleads with him to help her? It was horrible.
Exactly, this is more evidence that Dimension Films intentionally humiliated Jamie Lloyd. And they didn't want Harris to come back neither, claiming she was just some low-scale actress in the film. Low-scale? She's Michael Myers' niece for fuck's sake, and the daughter of his sister and Laurie Strode. Think about it, let's say in the current retcon trilogy, Myers and Laurie were related, and Karen was his niece, with Allison being his grandniece. None of them would be killed so brutally, if they were to die. Karen died, but her death was very subtle to be honest. Allison would not be killed in such a way, she would be respected as a main character in the storyline. Jamie Lloyd was the main character in Halloween after Curtis, yet they didn't respect her role. Not only did they plot to make room for Curtis in the next film, but it's how they did it, which really hurts. Refuse to pay Danielle Harris for her role as Jamie Lloyd, then brutalize her character in front of everyone. It's one of the most disrespectful events you will ever see in a film. So, I think her statements prove she doesn't like Harris, and never has. But, I'll let you finish with the show, take it easy.
Okay, see ya later. Jamie Lee Curtis is a prime example of what's wrong with society. She's superficial, arrogant, self-centered, and doesn't value another human being if they aren't so-called qualified. Although she is depicted as some empowered woman, fighting for women's rights and all, she does the exact opposite in real life. Which puts that into perspective as well. I'll save that for another time. I believe she is a psychopath, because she didn't care about Harris and Taylor's feelings. She knows who they are, yet decided to dismiss them in front of everyone. That is a sign of an emotionless, bitter person who seeks validation within themselves through hurting others. What if they responded in saying, quote, "Don't dismiss us like that, we know you know who we are, why are you saying that? Do you think you're the only one who deserves recognition in this franchise?" The last time I checked, Myers never shed tears with you in the storyline. He never questioned his actions like he did with me and my films. And this was the only time in the entire franchise that Michael Myers showed any sign of humanity. Even in The Curse of Michael Myers, he acknowledged me as his niece. He never showed any emotions towards you, and you're his sister. So you may want to tone it down with the high horse bullshit, because you're not the center of attention, Michael Myers is. Unquote. And proceed to walk away, as Curtis stands there in front of everyone, stunned. With people such as Curtis, sometimes you have to put them in their place. They are so obsessed with themselves, and the spotlight, it's impossible for them to actually acknowledge anyone else. I could see Scout Taylor doing that, because she was the one who became emotional from that incident. Let it out, voice your opinion. Because I'll tell you this, that incident will not go away. I understand both Harris and Taylor would like to forget it ever happened, but their fans surely won't accept it. The problem here is that they know Curtis is lying, which basically was a slap in the face. This is why Scout Taylor cried, because she took it that way, knowing damn well Curtis knew who she was. Harris, though, being a part of the original Halloween timeline, decided to just make a mental note of the incident. Somebody has to check Curtis's ego at the door. Although she's a senior citizen, you're never too old to be put in your place. This is the Chaos Sector, Film Reviews.